Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 2 for this week's work. We are going to have a look at finding fractions of quantities. Let's spend a little bit of time making sure that we understand what those two terms mean. You can see them just here, look. Fractions of quantities, okay? Starting with fractions, we know that fractions mean part of something. When something is split into equal parts, that's what a fraction is. We are used to thinking of fractions sometimes as just part of one. For example, 1/4 is 1 divided into 4 equal parts. But sometimes, as we did look at last lesson, we need to find fractions of sets of things. And that's what it means by quantity of things. So we might want to find 1/4 of the 12 sweets that are in the bag or something like that. That is what we're going to be looking at in detail today. Let's have a look at these representations of fractions quickly. This could be an opportunity if you would like to pause the video and tell me what fractions you think are represented here. Well, welcome back. Very simply, if we imagine each one of these things is, well, let's go through them one by one. So firstly, we have this 1 bar here. Let's start with this one. Firstly, we have this 1 bar. I can see it's been split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So each of those parts is a sixth. There are six sixths in total. 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4, 5, 6 sixths in total. How many of them are shaded in red? Well, I can say that the red section is 1/6 and the white section is 5/6. I know from last week when I was adding fractions, I know that adding them together, because they have the same denominator, that would equal 6/6. There's all sorts of different things I can do with each of these representations, okay? I'm not going to go through every single one of them. This one, for example, is very similar. This one on the number line, you might have identified was 1/4. Sorry, I didn't just say, but this one is 3/8, like that. But let's have a look at this one with the stars. The one with the stars, I've got 5 stars in total. And I have 2 of them which are shaded in yellow. So 2/5 of the 5 stars are shaded in yellow, as you can see. So I've got 5 stars. Each of them represents 1/5 of the stars, and 2/5 then of those stars are shaded in yellow. Let's have a look at this one down here. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's say we've got 12 balls here, but they've been split into sets of 2. So one of these sets of, so how many sets of 2 are there in the array? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each of the sets of 2 is 1/6 of the entire quantity of balls, or we could say it's 2/12 of the quantity. You can see that those fractions are equivalent to each other, can't you? 1/6 and 2/12, because if I divide the bottom by 2, divide the top by 2, just like that. So you could have said that this was either 10/12 of the balls here have been blocked out, or you could have said it was 5/6, because those are equivalent fractions. See, divide by 2 and divide by 2. So that's just a quick run through of some things that we have encountered already. Okay, let's have a look at these arrays. Now, an array, just as a reminder, is when you split something into rows or columns. Now, arrays must be equal. They are usually represented as squares or rectangle blocks, okay? Now, sometimes when we're doing our own diagrams, we might have 12 and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all over the place, okay? That's not what we're doing. at the moment. What we are doing is looking at these arrays. So let's try and find my pen. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at this one on the left first. So I am looking at, I have a total set of 12 circles, and I've highlighted 3 of them here on the left. What fraction of them have been highlighted? So let's have a think. How many columns of 3 have I got? Well, I've got 1 column of 3 there, 2, 3, 4. So I've split the 12 into 4 equal parts. And here I've taken just 1 of those equal parts. So 1/4 of 12 is equal to 3. Now you might be able to start to notice the relationship here between 4 and 12 and 3. We know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Those sort of things. Always try and notice those relationships. They'll help you out. Let's have another go with this one on the right then. I've got the same 12 circles, but this time I'm looking at the rows. So how many rows have I split into? Well, I've got 1 row at the top there. This is my second row, so 2 rows. And then 3 rows. So I split the 12 into 3 equal parts, and I highlighted at the beginning 1 of those equal parts, 1 of those sets. So 1/3 of 12 then is 4. Here is an opportunity for you to stop then and do the same, but this time we have 24. So firstly, what can you tell me about this set, the red set, and what can you tell me about the green set? Pause the video and have a think about that. Okay, welcome back. Let's start, shall we, with the red set. So we started with this red set here, okay? So I've got 24 circles in total. How many equal rows have I, columns even, have I split it into? Well, I've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 columns of circles. So each of the columns is 1/6 of the circles. So I know that 1/6 of the 24 is 4. So 1/6 of them there, of the 24 circles, is 4 of them. What could you tell me then? How many, I wonder, and it's okay if you didn't go this far, but I wonder if you could tell me what 2/6 would be then. So again, each of my groups is 1/6. That is a 1/6 of them. And here is another 1/6 of them. So that's 2/6 of them. So in this whole set here, the big set, how many have I got? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2/6 of 24 would be 8. And so on and so on. I can continue to work that out. And we will look at some shortcuts in how to work these out later. But for now, I'm just hoping that you can start to see what I mean when we're talking about fractions of a quantity, fractions of a number of things. Let's have a look at the second set which you did, which was the rows. So I know I've got 24 in total, and I know that I've got 6 in each row. But how many rows have I got in total? I've got 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. And I've got 4 lots of 6. I know that that's 24. I know that each row is equal to a quarter, isn't it? I've got a quarter, add a quarter, add a quarter, add a quarter. quarter. So I know that 1/4 of 24 is equal to 6. I know that the 24 have been divided into 4 equal rows, and each of those is equal to 6. Starting to see some patterns occurring now, and so on and so on and so on. Here are not all of the different ways, but many of the different ways that on the right here that you could refer to this array. Now I've got 24 circles in total. I know that because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 in each row and I've got 3 rows. I know that 8 times 3 is 24. So have a look at this representation. There are so many different things that I could talk about here. I could say that half of 24, if I split into 2 equal halves, I say the half of 24 is equal to 12. I could also say that a half is equal to 4/8. There's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. So I know that each of my columns is an eighth. So I know that I could say that a half is equal to 4/8. I could say therefore that 4/8 of 24 is equal to 12. I could say that half of 24 is equal to 12. And have a look at these, have a read of these, all of the different ways that you could talk about the different sets here. You could see that double, that this is 12 and double that is 24 altogether. You can see it's 12 add 12, 2 lots of 12, it's 2 groups of 12, it's 2 equal parts, each of them have a value of 12, and so on and so on. And you can also see the similarity between the bar model at the bottom. If I say the whole bar is worth 24, then of course half of the bar is worth 12. Each of the parts then of the bar, look, has a value. That value is 1/4 of the whole set. So what is 1/4 of 12? We might have a question which asks, can you find 1/4 of 12? To do that, you can see what I'm really doing is I'm getting 12 and I'm dividing it into 4 equal parts. So here is something that's going to really help you with the task. If I have a fraction, if I'm asked to find a fraction of a whole number and the numerator in the fraction is 1, all I need to do is take the whole number and divide it by the denominator. So I've got 12 things in my set. I've got 12 circles. I'm splitting them into 4 groups. So I'm doing 12 divided by 4, which is equal to 3. That's all that I need to know for that question, that type of question. So let's have a look at a word problem. Stamps are sold in sheets of 24. Amber uses 3 sheets. Michael uses 3/4 of a sheet. How many does each person use? So let's start with Amber. Amber uses 3 sheets of 24 stamps. So one sheet has 24 stamps, and 3 sheets has how many? Well, to get from 1 to 3, I've had to multiply that by 3. So I need to do the same here. I know that 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 20 is 60, 60 add 12, 72. So that is a multiplication question for there. Let's have a look at the second part of this question then. Michael uses 3/4 of a sheet of stamps. Okay, this is going to be a little bit trickier. So each stamp book contains 24 stamps. That's 12, 16, 20, 24. Okay, now as you can see already, this isn't the quickest way of working things out, but it does work. Okay, so I have drawn this set of stamps out. There are 24 stamps in total. Now, Michael uses 3/4 of them. So let me divide these into 4 equal parts first to find 1/4. If you use 1/4 of them, that would be this set here. This is 1/4. You see, if I divide this across, that's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So I've got each quarter has how many stamps in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1/4 of 24 is equal to 6. So what is 3/4 of 24? Well, I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I know that 3/4 of 24 is equal to 18. What do you notice though? What could I have done to speed that up instead of counting them out individually? Well, once I knew that 1/4 was equal to 6, I could have just multiplied that by 3, couldn't I? Because I've got 3 lots of it. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So here is how we work these questions out. Here is how we work these questions out a little bit more quickly. If I am asked to find a fraction of something where the numerator is not 1, I have to do it in 2 steps. First, I have to find, for example, 1/4 of it. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 4, which gives me 6, which is what I did here in this stage. And then I multiply that by the numerator. So, for example, if I was being asked to find 2/5 of 15, what I would do is I take 15 divided by 5. So I did a whole number divided by the denominator, which is 3. And then 3, I multiply it by the numerator. So these are all different ways. This way that I've just explained to you there, that's a real shortcut way of doing it. And I have explained that later on. Of course, if you want to draw out the arrays and things to help you understand, always worthwhile. So let's have a look here at some of the ways this could be represented as a word problem. So in the long jump, Jessica Ennis jumped a distance of 6 meters and 40 centimeters. I've got one person here saying, I can jump 1/4 of that distance. I can jump 1/2 of that distance. I can jump 3/5 of that distance. Okay, so we're not going to go through and work each one of these ones out, but what I want you to be able to do is identify what the question is asking you to do. Okay, so in this question, Jessica Ennis has jumped 6 meters, 40 centimeters. And let's say this girl here on the right, she said that she can jump 1/2 of that. So what am I being asked to do? I'm being asked to find 1/2 of 6 meters and 40 centimeters. We're not going to worry too much about units and meters and centimeters for now, but I just want you to understand what the questions are asking you to do. For example, this one said I can jump 3/5 of it. So what you're being asked to do is find 3/5 of 6 meters, 40 centimeters, and so on and so on. Moving on to your independent task. Your independence task is split into 3 sections, okay? Each of those sections has been discussed in this video. The first part is finding fractions of whole amounts where the numerator is 1/4. So where the numerator is 1, okay? So for example, finding 1/4 of 8 or something like that. Remember, all you need to do, that is exactly the same as being asked to do 8. Sorry, is doing 8 divided by 4. When the numerator of a fraction is 1, then all you need to do is the whole number divided by the denominator. Keep referring back to this page. This number 1, this is going to help you with challenge 1. 2 is going to help you with challenge 2, and 3 is going to help you with challenge 3. Okay? Challenge 2, we're finding fractions of whole amounts when the numerator is not 1. Say, for example, if I had 2/5 of 15. Well, what I have to do is take the whole number, which is 15, divide it by the denominator, which is 3, and then multiply by the numerator, which is 6. The last one is word problems. Have a think of the word problem and draw it out if it is going to help you. And over to you.